Hi, everybody. I mean, g'day, you mob. How the heck are we? Third Coast Aquatics. If you're not first, you're last. Ricky Bobby. Indeed. Well done, Third Coast Aquatics. Big bucket of kudos. Out in the post to you. Burning belly. Big D, how's it going? G'day, Cobber. 0056. Hello, back at you. Not from Canada. GRB, g'day, mate. Tropico, how's it going? James H. Mr. Hugh Killack. Cichlids Aquarium Keeper. CAC. How the CAC are you, CAC? BCFR Aquatics, g'day, mate. Chubby Guppy, hello there. Yeah, GRB, I hope your neighbourhood is safe from the fires. Stay safe over there. Clearly lots of drama going on in the WA at the moment. Natural Aquariums, how's it going? Chevy Fish, thank you for the like, and sleep well. Blacky, I like that. Dr. Vlack 66. Got a certain joie de vivre to it. Zip Gun, how's it going? Xanadu. How do you do, Xanadu? Two Dougs, welcome back. G'day, how's it going? That's it. Said to hi to everyone, except this maybe a couple of lurkers. G'day if you're lurking. Welcome. And she is. What's going on? How is everyone? How's your week? Oh yes, obligatory thank yous to Bentley, Pasco, and Candy for it's all good, Chevy. I kind of like it. G'day, Keith Hanshaw. Welcome. Thank you. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, GRB. A little bit of a, what do you call it? Eastern European vibe to it, maybe. Something like that. Oh, yeah, so I was saying thanks to Candy and Bentley for the plugs. And getting a couple new people in here each week, I think. I can only assume that's where Keith has come across from. Let us know, Keith. Natural Aquarium, so much drama in the LBC. What's the LBC? Have I had my head in the sand or something? Yeah, not sure. Vlack the Impaler. Yeah, obviously a lot of gnarly stuff going on in the Western Australia. Bit of a COVID scare, and now bushfires troubling the outskirts of Perth. Look out. Here we go. First, Long Beach, California. Gotcha. All right. Black the Imbiber. Well, that's probably a bit more like it. Zip Gun.
Hello, everyone.
Hello there. Beast who is no longer the beast. Is this what I'm led to believe is that you've re-identified yourself, renamed yourself, rebirthed yourself?
I had to, yep. There was too many people with the beast or you know, beast in their names on YouTube, and yeah, I had to go back to my original internet handle. So this is a transition to
He's in a
Z.
transitional period. Does
Yeah.
that mean you are now trans?
I'm no, I'm certainly a male of the species.
Skookum Chuck, how are you? Welcome. Rebursted himself, yeah. That's a pretty solid reference. Third Coast, because that's what I call birthdays is birthdays. I'm kind of hoping that it's a callback to previous birthday comedy. That would be very nice to see that my comedy is staying in people's brains. So what's been going on in your world?
Or late nights, been staying up really late. I was watching a really interesting YouTube series about a game called RimWorld, and this gentleman was playing this RimWorld game, which is like a society simulation. And he started off in the Arctic zone with a single colonist who had the cannibal trait, and because there wasn't much resources in the Arctic zone, raiders and traders would come to him, and he would either pretty much murder every raider that came his way and butcher them up and eat them.
Interesting.
It was really fucking fun. So I got up to like episode 11 last night.
And you said it's a YouTube series, but is it done with a video game?
Yeah, done with a video game and the guy narrating it, and he's got a good what was he called? Something, the ambiguous something aquarium or something, yeah. But yeah, very, very well narrated and very interesting to watch.
Yeah, it's pretty wild how entertaining video game storytelling can be. Like I've been doing nuts amounts of Star Wars video game watching.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Joel G, g'day mate, an ugly man. How are you, ugly? There's a question from Zipgun saying, what is the artist formerly known as Beast's current YouTube channel?
Z-Beam. Zeebeam. I had to change it to that because even Joshua Eamon or Joshua Michael was already taken, and it was just too confusing. So I had to find something and go back to something that was more unique, and not much was about it. So if you look up Z-Beam, you'll get a few industrial installations of things called Z-Beams, which are structural supports, but that's about it. I don't have many videos up at the moment, but I'm building them.
Oh, little bandy one was pretty neat the other night.
Yeah, it's a beautiful creature.
I
was tempted to pick him up, but I thought, no, better just leave him alone. And my dad told me he's a herpetology professor. He said there's no documentation of anyone ever getting bitten, so I'd be pretty much safe. So.
They've got such a tiny little mouth, you'd have to sort of hold it open and force your little finger in there to get any bite off them.
Right. This one had a particularly wide head. It looked like more than a python than the other bandies that I'd seen before. I was a bit like, "Ooh, you look different."
Yeah, I heard you say that in the video, but I didn't think it looked any different than the one I had here a couple of years ago.
Okay, all right. I'll be game next time and pick one up.
But yeah, they're certainly a fun snake to toy around with when they hoop up and whatnot.
Yeah, it's an interesting behaviour.
Yeah.
I didn't want to stir this guy up too much. They're pretty low metabolism creatures that don't feed very often, so expending any excess energy just to do a quick display is, not very good for them.
Yeah, I do believe they get plenty of constant feeding because they do spend pretty much the entirety of their life in the humus layer.
Yep.
Lots of little bugs and lizards and whatnot to eat.
Yep.
Quite funny, as I said, lizards. A little lizard ran across the floor over there.
Ooh.
Oh, speaking of animals running around and stuff too, when I opened the cupboard underneath this fish tank behind me to turn the light on just before, was this whopping great big rat sitting there where the light switch is in the cupboard.
Wow.
But yeah, I went to get my toad catching tongs because I was going to try and pick him up with my toad tongs. But yeah, by the time I got back to the cupboard, he's was out the circular hole and the back for all the cords and stuff to go through.
Right.
So that was a shame. So I got to go and get my rat trap, or maybe even go and buy a new one. Catch the rat to feed to one of my son's snakes.
Yep.
Waste not, want not.
Oh, for sure. Bit of
I'd
wild food.
Rather a large rat in the belly of a snake instead of in my fish cupboard. Seems a bit more appropriate.
For sure.
Nice one, GRB. Chucking a link in for Z-Beam's channel.
You found it. Thank you, GRB.
It'll be I'll probably find it mildly difficult myself to transition into calling you Z-Beam.
Yep.
Instead of Beast or Joshua.
Yep. Doesn't matter. I'll perk up at any of these names.
They all get the same result.
Yep.
So what else is new? Any travels?
No, I've just been getting phone orders. We got a nice shipment in from Indonesia this last week. Got all of these opals that we'd bought probably about eight or 10 years ago, boulder opal, and some nice potch as well. So Emma's rocking the potch today. Got a really nice, even neutral grey colour, which is hard to find in stones. So yeah.
Did you say you ordered them 10 years ago?
We bought the stones off a stone dealer 10 years ago and just finally got them put into silver.
Wow. Oh, right. I gotcha.
Yeah, so the value's increased significantly, but we're going to time machine it and sell them for just a markup on the price that we paid back in the day. So they should fly off the shelves.
Yeah, good. I'm sure they look great or will look great.
Yeah.
G'day, Gaffer Haynes. How are you, mate? What's a Whistler? Is that a beericle? Is that just a beer? A Whistler beericle.
What am I drinking? I'm drinking coffee because I was a silly bugger and I didn't get to the shops in the last couple of days. So I have run out of beer and I'm on coffee.
Harsh.
It is.
Yeah, no, I'm just looking at Skirkum Chuck's comment, enjoying a Whistler beericle.
A Whistler.
Or am I just like super slow today and missing all the comedy? Yeah, I've been doing considerably late nights as well and waking up late, which then obviously, compounds itself.
Yeah.
I did get myself up reasonably early today. Let's do a bit of this.
Oh my God, what happened? Where am I?
Hello, Corvus.
What's going on? I'm coming at you all the way from the water.
Water.
The water is falling from the sky nonstop. It won't stop.
Wow.
It won't stop. It won't stop raining.
Oh.
Wasn't it raining there last week as well?
It hasn't stopped.
Wow. That's like the rain we had like a month ago that was like a week of solid rain.
Yeah, it's been raining for months now.
That's
been going wild, man. It's I don't know. It's flooding. Like stuff's just flooding. It's like nonstop.
Yeah, well, your rain measurements last week were already impressive. So they can only be bigger now.
Let's see. What is it? 2021.
Did I say
as of
g'day to
Tuesday-
Gaffer? G'day, Gaffer. And Craig Broderick in the house. How are you, Craigos? So Big D's in your neighbourhood as well, getting lots of rain.
Yeah, dude. So the Seattle area, which doesn't see even the most rain, like normally the outlying areas get more rain. We're at over 10 inches of snow, or 10 inches of rain. Sorry, not snow, rain.
Like for the week or for the month?
For this month.
Right.
So 10 inches is like, I don't know how many centimeters, like 25 or something?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
250 mil. Yeah.
And it's just been raining. So it was like raining a lot before that, but since the first of the year, it's rained, 25, 26 centimeters.
Yeah, we had, what did we have, like 2 good solid days of rain this week, and now it's pretty clear, but that of course means that the ground is just sludge.
Yeah. We'll get afternoon rains again. Probably.
It's just swamp ass and cold out there. It's just swampy as all get out.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Do you get much creatures hanging out at your house, getting away from it?
No, they're all dead. They've all drowned. They've all drowned in the. There's no ark for them to ride around on.
Right.
Yeah.
If you believe in those kinds of things.
That was just special treatment back in the day.
Yeah, if you believe in wooden ships with donkeys on them, if you believe in that.
How impressive would the gene pool be if that's how it all started? There'd be so many hunted creatures.
Yeah.
Like we were all just like hanging around on boats. And then
Waterworld.
Yeah, Waterworld. I have to admit that like Waterworld was a better movie. Well, I think Waterworld was a better movie than people give it credit. Like, it's not a bad movie. It was just the most expensive movie ever made at the time.
Was it? Wow.
Yeah, that was the reason why like it got such bad reviews because you got to think like I remember it was like $200 million or something, right? And I think like I don't know. I'd have to check the dates, but I think like Jurassic Park cost like $50 million to make or something, right?
That's crazy. I wonder was most of it Kevin Costner's wages? It was Kevin Costner, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No, I remember like it being super expensive because it was made all on the water.
Yeah,
right.
So like everyone was being paid like triple overtime, hazard pay, water gonna drown. We need scuba divers everywhere.
Yeah.
So I remember like the Waterworld. So you got to remember like Kevin Costner was one of the biggest guys at the time. So 1995, right? Jurassic Park came out in 1993. Waterworld came out in 1995. Kevin Costner was like probably one of the biggest stars in all of Hollywood at the time, 1995, because that's like after Dances with Wolves and like Academy Awards and all that stuff. And Waterworld was supposed to be sort of like an epic movie, right? But not like a blockbuster, insane budget, maddening movie. But it got this gigantic reputation before it came out because they spent so much money on it. So in 1993, they made Jurassic Park, total budget $63 million, right? 2 years later, they made Waterworld for $175 million, right? So that's like it's basically 3 times the budget of Jurassic Park. And I think Jurassic Park did like $1 billion at the box office or something bonkers. I don't know. It was like one of the biggest grossing movies of all time. What did it do? Yeah, the box office in 1993 was 1.03 billion in just the U.S. market.
Yeah.
That's for Jurassic Park.
You know,
And
so
then
you got to think like everyone was expecting Jurassic Park from Waterworld because it was like 2 years after Jurassic Park was like coming out on cassette, you know, like VHS.
Yeah.
And people were expecting that. That's what they were expecting out of Waterworld. They were expecting Waterworld to be like the next Jurassic Park. That's basically what they were expecting.
It could never do it.
Well, I don't know if it's a matter of like you couldn't do it.
No, it would never make as much. It was never going to make as much because the product ties, you know, those video games, T-shirts, toys.
Well, no, that's just the 1 billion was the box office. That's
I get that, but
the merchandising and all that.
Yeah, but people love the fact that they, you know, the kid next door would get the toy. The toys were released just as the movie released. So there's all these like offshoot advertising going on before and during the movie was still at the box office.
It was all at the box office back then because like like VHS was still relatively new-ish or whatever, you know, like what DVDs came out in like what 90 maybe DVDs came out 96 95.
Yeah, but I remember when the movie came out and they timed the product releases so that, you know, you could get a toy Velociraptor straight after the movie, like when the movie was still at the box office. So a kid would go see the movie, go, mum and dad, take me to the toy shop, buy a Velociraptor, take the Velociraptor to school. Some other kid sees the Velociraptor, goes, oh, wow, you squeeze the legs together, and the mouth goes, yeah, chomp, chomp. and next minute, all his friends go, fuck, I've got to see this fucking movie. So, you know, it's
I mean,
very clever.
Well, I mean, you got to remember in 93, like, I don't think it was the toy. It wasn't the toys. The toys were just the icing on the cake, you know?
Yeah.
Because in 1993, like the only thing that was coming out was movies, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there was there was records and there was videos and there was definitely popular stuff, obviously, but like a big movie came out like Jurassic Park. It came out in the summertime here. So for you guys, it's like winter, right? So they do like a winter release on your end, which doesn't work very well. But like in the US, those like summertime blockbuster movies, because like none of the kids were in school, right? So you didn't have to be anywhere because I don't know how the hell they do it in Australia, but like there's no school here in the States during
your whole summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, our school system has 6 weeks off as a rule over the summer period.
Yeah, but our summer is your winter.
Yeah.
We get winter holidays
always struck me as funny that your school year ends in the middle of the year. Do they do that, or
the middle of your year? Yeah. So like if a movie came out here in like July or whatever, or like, I don't know, I'd have to see when Jurassic Park came out, but I think it was a summer release. So there was like no school. There's nothing going on, and people would just like go to the theater. You know what I mean? Oh, release date June 9th. Yeah, so it basically released right at the end of the school year. So then like kids would go see it all summer long, right? Like you'd go during the day and like get into the theater and that kind of stuff. But back then, like, I mean, you guys both remember, you would go see a movie. You'd go see it like, if it was awesome, you'd go see it like 5 times, you know, in the theater.
Yeah, it's a
But
worthy experience for
anyhow,
a good film.
like Waterworld got like such a bad rep because people had the expectation that that it was going to crush Jurassic Park. And I remember
No.
being in the States because it was on the news. It was on the news so many times. It was constantly on the news that Waterworld was way over budget. They've spent all this money. It's Kevin Costner. It's blah, blah, blah. They've spent twice as much money as Jurassic Park. They've spent 3 times as much. This is the most expensive movie that has ever been made, ever, ever, ever. And then people went and saw it, and they were like, yeah, it was all right, I guess, and it just flopped because people were like, they spent they spent just imaginary amounts of money at the time.
The problem with expectation, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's always best, especially with movies, to keep your expectations really low, and that's very difficult to be disappointed.
That's right.
Yeah.
T-Bone. How are you, T-Bone? And
like
Thirsty
the Blair Witch
Rabbit?
Project.
How are you, Thirsty Bro?
See, I don't know how the Blair Witch Project came out in your neck of the woods. I'm sure it was spoiled for you by the time it came out there. But like, have you ever seen that movie?
Yeah.
Like when it came out here, it played at like this super ghetto movie theater. It didn't play at like AMC or Regal or any of those, right? It played at like at the Neptune Theater, which was like this place was so old and like it's an old movie theater, right? It had wood seats in it still, right? Like that's how old this place is. And the only stuff that you would normally see there is like the Rocky Horror Picture Show or Troll 2. You know what I mean? Like they only ever play goofy stuff there. And I went to go see it because I heard from somebody that there was this wacky documentary. Nobody knows what the hell happened. Everybody died at the end. They just found this tapes and they pieced it together and they put it out, right? And so back then there wasn't enough information being spread around like quickly enough. So it came out, we went and saw it and just about shit our pants with how crazy that movie was, right? And like 2 weeks later, you find out like, oh, those guys are still alive. Oh, sick burn, got me, scared the shit out of me. But you got me.
I can't remember what media hype it came with, whether the story was spoiled by the time it got down here.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can certainly remember. Like I don't think I saw it in a cinema, but I can still certainly remember shitting my pants to it as well. So whether you knew the outcome of the story or not, it was just still really well done and such an awesome, avant-garde concept.
And especially in like such a weird concept that no one had ever done that before. Like, here's we found these tapes and we made the thing. Yeah, and you go like Blair Witch 2 was one of the worst movies ever made,
Well, yeah, that much I heard, so I don't think I ever bothered with seeing the sequel.
Expectations. Yeah.
Yeah, no expectation.
Yeah, no expectations for Blair Witch. All the expectations to be scared by Blair Witch 2, and it was like, is that a ghost on a string? Oh my god!
But then
I can see the fishing line, guys.
That certainly spawned a whole genre, and the like that first Paranormal Activity movie, that was absolutely frightening. That's really possibly the best jump scares of any film ever, I think.
Right. I think was it I think the first movie I was ever scared by was Poltergeist, I think that's right. Yeah, 1982. The House
got me.
Yeah. Because I remember I remember my parents got a copy of this because my uncle was like way into like cutting edge technology stuff. Like he had Laserdisc You know, he had
Oh,
Betamax.
big ones.
You know, he had Betamax. He had like a projector with, you know, the, you know, you could get the actual 35 millimeter film and
The
watch
real.
movies and stuff on a projector. And my parents and my aunts and uncles and stuff were watching this one night, and I came out into the living room. I think I was like 3 or something like that, and it was the scene where the guy's drinking the tequila bottle and the worm, like its eyeball, like the worm is poltergeisted. You know, I don't know how you say that. Is it the poltergeist is inside the worm in the tequila bottle and it like comes to life and then he swallowed it? And I saw that part and I just about died and could not sleep that night. You know,
I might have to revisit that movie because I don't remember that bit.
that movie's messed up.
Oh, hang on. Kid in front of the TV with the white noise. That's not Poltergeist. That's Amityville, isn't it?
But that's the Poltergeist.
That's Poltergeist.
Oh, yeah. It is.
Man, yeah. I have the scene right here. I have the scene right here on the movie clips, and I know we can't show it because we will get Hulk smashed by copyright claim. But seriously, look up maybe it's Poltergeist 2. Is it Poltergeist 2?
The first one had the tree scene. I remember that. That was pretty scary. But the tree came to life and was scratching on the windows, and the tree swallows some kid.
Oh, Poltergeist 1982. Yeah, it comes up as a tequila worm. Yeah, that's Poltergeist. Okay, so that's technically Poltergeist 2.
The tequila worm.
Poltergeist 1 is the yeah. So there's the 5 incarnations that it takes, which is the skull, the skeleton, living, the tequila worm, and the beast. Yeah, is the final incarnation.
Yeah,
and to be honest with you, I don't remember if everybody died or not. Did everybody die in that movie? I can't even remember. I don't know.
I can't remember. Yeah, T-Bone's point, they can't make paranormal and horror movies scary enough. They are more comedy than horror or scary.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Some movies freak me out, dude. I think realistically, like the movies that freak me out are the ones where like it's plausible it could happen, right?
Yeah.
You know, like The Matrix. Like you wouldn't think that The Matrix was a horror movie or whatever, like or a scary movie, but I literally saw The Matrix not knowing what the hell it was. Like I had no idea what the movie was about. I literally walked in. And at the time I was taking and by the way, I have to preface this. At the time I was taking tons of amphetamines and LSD on a daily basis for long extended periods of time. So I went to go see The Matrix, not knowing what it was about. I had no idea what that movie was supposed to be about. I had no inclination of like what was supposed to happen. I ended up sitting in the very front row. And I watched that movie, and I came out with my brain felt like scrambled eggs, dude, because I was like, "Am I in the Matrix? Like, what the fuck is going on?" Like, I had no idea what was happening.
Yeah.
Oh, but have you seen Event Horizon? That's still probably one of the scariest movies I've ever seen.
Yeah, that one is good.
All the crazy Latin going on in the background and I mean, if you just listen to the soundtrack of that movie, you're going to be freaked out.
Yeah. It's the most plausible of all science fiction movies about the dangers of faster than light travel and dimensional. What happens when you try and fuck with dimensional travel, because you know that underlying reality is the hell dimension, and what if you go through there without what's called a theoretical Geller field to protect yourself,
right?
You're gonna get demons coming into your ship and possessing people, hosts.
I must be about due for a rewatch of Event Horizon, I reckon.
Yeah,
that's a messed up movie, man. You got to watch it when it's like dark out.
Yeah,
Like you can't watch it at like noon on a Saturday. You know what I mean?
No, tonight's someone.
You can't be like sitting in your. You can't be like sitting there in your track shorts eating a grapefruit with some sugar sprinkled on top of it during the middle of the day while you hear some birds chirping outside and stuff. No, man, you gotta watch it at like 2:00 in the morning when you're super tired and you can't really tell what the hell's going on, but you got to be quiet because
can you still be eating a grapefruit though?
What's that?
Can you still be eating a grapefruit though? Because it is one of the scariest of the fruit.
I mean, you can go for it if you like, but you don't get sugar at 3 a.m. You know what I'm saying? There's no candy.
Going back to the witch thing though, I noticed an ad last night for the remake or the sequel to The Craft. And of all the movies that had like a realistically horrible, like really bad ending, like as far as bad outcomes, was The Craft.
Oh, yeah.
Where the girl, one of the girls is stuck in a mental asylum saying it's real, it's real, it's real.
Right.
And she's locked up and tied down and, you know, just rooted.
That's that whole thing. Like, I don't know. That's definitely not the first movie that ever did that, but that's definitely one of the first mainstream movies that came out that just has a bad ending. Like, it's not a good ending.
Yeah.
It's just like, yep, and now it's Thursday, so everyone get out of here. Like,
yeah.
You know, like,
I don't
everyone
remember.
stop watching. It's like pretty close to real life with that whole nonsense.
Well, just the worst character in it, you know, or as far as behavior, ending up in a psych ward was just like, for me personally, was like, wow, shit. You know, if you mess with this shit, mess with this magic stuff and end up believing in it too much and making it real, and you do it wrong and you cause harm, you know, you're going to end up in the psych ward.
It's not a good place to be. I'm telling you.
No, it's not. There's a lot of denying that goes on in places like that.
So potentially not worth rewatching The Craft, because I know I've seen it, but I just don't remember. I don't remember it.
It was like a decent movie, but it's for teen girls.
It's for girls, yeah. I mean, it was for teen girls. Yeah, I mean that's just the best way to put it. It's like it was specifically for teen girls in the 90s. I mean,
was it designed?
I remember I watched it because like some girl wanted me to watch it.
Yeah.
Was it designed to scare the teen girls away from witchcraft?
I'd advertised it, if anything.
Yes.
Nah, I don't know. It wasn't advertised that way. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
G'day,
the amount of girls that got into witchcraft and Wicca stuff after they saw that in my local area was pretty huge. And I was like, you fucking fake people. Jesus Christ. Movie gets into this shit. Oh my God.
You calling Jesus fake?
Yeah, Jeebus is pretty fake. Yeah.
I thought he was just one of the world's first motivational speakers.
Yeah, he could have been, for sure. I'll give you that. But
he's not one of the first.
No, he wasn't the first.
They built the damn pyramids like thousands of years before that guy.
Yeah, they would have had some quality motivational speakers, wouldn't they?
Oh, for sure. Drink the liquid bread. The pyramids were built on beer. You got your daily bread.
Potentially amphetamines as well.
Oh, for sure. Ephedra is found in some of the mummies, along with cocaine and tobacco, which are South American or American natives. So there's a bit of conjecture of whether or not this whole Columbus discovering America thing is real, because there was trade going on well before then.
Well, I mean, there were humans living in America, you know. Before Christopher Columbus came along.
That's
but
right.
America, I mean, America's named after Amerigo Vespucci, so I don't know. People are like, Christopher Columbus discovered it, but it's like, well, why is it named after Amerigo Vespucci then?
Yeah.
I thought America was like Australia in that the Dutch actually found it before anyone else did, but they didn't where they left.
Like North
Yep.
America?
Yeah.
I thought that the Dutch got there before the Spaniards or the Portuguese.
Well,
Probably.
seems like the
Vikings
Vikings
did.
were here long before then, because the Vikings had settlements. You know, seems to be like the likely the what, like Mongolians, or like the northern Mongolians or whatnot. You know, they came across on the land bridge into Alaska. You know, 100,000 years before that or whatever. You know, whatever
The
whatever
Vikings,
the number is.
the Vikings would have been more northeastern United States. Yeah, they would have come across on their boats.
Yeah, like
And,
Nova Scotia, Canada. Yeah,
Yeah.
areas like that.
That would explain all of the redheads in Massachusetts. Yeah,
That's that's from the potato famine, actually.
The Irish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The potato famine kicked in, and it seemed like a good idea to get on a boat. I'm going on a boat. Where are you going? We're going that
Potatoes.
way for 3 months. Okay. Good luck.
And potato and tomato are both considered these staples of other cultures, but they're all from South America.
yeah. And did you know that tomatoes were they were like frowned upon for a long time in Europe?
Yeah.
Even in Italy, they didn't want to accept the tomato, and now look at most of your Italian cuisine is all, well, it's vastly tomato based.
Well,
Yep.
it's all Chinese food anyhow.
Exactly. Noodles. Oh, they swap noodles for rice.
Listen, man, I know the Italians and the French and all those bozos like to claim that they created cuisine, and yet the Chinese were doing it 4,000 years before them.
Yeah.
Literally, like the dishes that they claim are their like national dishes. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, we got the pasta. It's like, yeah, you stole that from the Chinese, you fucking criminals. Like, do you have anything from your culture that you actually do? Well, we cook things in a pot and then they're not cold.
Yeah.
Like, all right, that's your cuisine then. Deal with it. Quit claiming pasta. You didn't invent it.
Yeah.
The Italians can't even claim murdering emperors as,
No.
Their own thing. People were doing it well before they were
It
doing
was
it.
long before that, yeah. I mean, that's ancient. That's ancient tradition. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to overthrow the king. That's just what you do. You know what I'm saying? Like, you be down here, one of us plebes, right? One of us peons down here, and then we got a lot of time on our hands because we got a whole lot of things to do. So then we start coming up with some harebrained schemes, like overthrowing the king.
Yeah.
GRB saying about our our indigenous people here 40,000 years before Whitey got here. That's what we were taught that in school, but now they've fleshed it out to 65,000 years.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing that they were updating the much later dates with the Aboriginals or indigenous. Is it proper to say Aboriginal or is it indigenous? I don't know.
Well, there's lots of acceptable terms. We use Aboriginal, Indigenous. I think the politically correct term nowadays is First Nations people.
Right, right.
But it doesn't roll off the tongue as smoothly as Indigenous.
Yeah, well, First
Aboriginal.
Nation is generally like, I think Canadians introduced that first. Because all the tribes in Canada are referred to as
the nations. Yeah,
the First Nations. So, yeah, I mean that might be it. Well, as you know, like Vicky's like she's half Native, Native American.
Yeah, well, they've found metal objects in some ancient Aboriginal caves as well, like old swords and shit like that obviously have been traded and left behind by previous whiteys that were here before English whitey came along and Dutch whitey came along.
Yeah. Who's that guy? Graham Hancock. He's the guy that's he's one of the lead vocal people about was it Goblioteki or whatever. I forget how you say it, but he's digging up archaeological dig that's basically showing civilization before the 13,000 years ago, from when the big meteor hit
Yeah.
the planet, thusly creating the Gulf of Mexico.
That's that age-old question that you get from people about, if you had a time machine, where would you go? And yeah, I'd be looking at about 15 to 20,000 years ago just to see what was going on around the planet.
Dude, I would love to see like 20,000 years ago.
Yeah, there was definitely some full-on
Or
shit
15,
going on around the
maybe
world.
15,000 years ago, something like that.
Yeah, somewhere in between.
Yeah.
Let's go 17,235 years ago. Perfect.
Very specific. I like it.
Yeah, it seems like there was fairly active civilization going on before that point in time.
Yeah, but there was, for a seemingly technologically advanced civilization that had shit going on,
Right.
they didn't seem to leave any writings behind or anything like that. Hasn't been
Well, that's
any
the thing, like
solid evidence that we've found
well, that's
yet.
one of the things. So, like, Graham Hancock was talking about it, that we find all these weird statues down in the ocean, right? All these weird structures down in the ocean, that kind of
road.
stuff. So you got to think, like, almost all culture, humans, right? We build our cities and stuff like that near the shore, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's where the action's at, man. You could get lobsters, you could get birds, there's all sorts of crap you can eat. There's water flowing around, going down into the ocean, right? So most of the big cities and civilizations are built by the shore, right? So if you had a catastrophic event that melted a ton of ice, which is obvious where I live, right?
Yeah.
So Graham Hancock and that other dude, they come out here all the time, because just over the mountains from where I live in Washington is where this whole place was packed with like a mile of ice, right? And all that ice melted. That raised up the oceans, that raised up the sea level, right? And you got to think, when those civilizations, if they were built by the shore and you had a catastrophic event that melted all this water, that raised up the ocean and just put that stuff under the water, what are you going to do? You're going to go into the water and go get it? Like, everyone's dead. You don't have time. You're trying to find food. You're trying to find shelter. The sky's on fire. There's dust falling everywhere. Like a million volcanoes went off. So, I mean, for that stuff to be buried under 60 feet of ocean water or whatever, like, no one's ever gone out there to dredge it up and find out what the hell's going on. Like, it would be a huge undertaking to go out like 100 feet from the shoreline and then go down into the water and then dig down to find out what the hell's going on out there, right?
Yeah.
Like, you'd be making Waterworld like every day. It would be hundreds of millions of dollars trying to make Waterworld just to find out if there's some fossils down there or remnants of some kind of civilization. And I know, like, Blacky, you and I were talking about it last week. Like, you have all this information, like, on a cell phone and stuff like that. If you just chuck this thing out in the woods for 50 years, it's going to be gone.
Yeah.
It'll be like completely swallowed up, and like, it'll just be a thing that's in the dirt. And if somebody dug it up, they'd be like, well, that's weird. Like, I don't know. I found a weird thing. Like, if you were to go out into a landfill and dig up some shit from 50 years ago, you might find some identifiable plastic things or like rusty metal stuff or whatever, but like, there's not like really any information there, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's just stuff in the ground here. I don't know.
So,
and then if you had no access to any of that because it's all under ocean water, like.
So, I got an interesting story. That the guys working with Elon Musk when they sent up the Roadster in the rocket. In the glove box of the Roadster is a silver dollar shaped quartz disc, synthetic quartz disc.
Right.
And on that is 320 terabytes of data. And on the surface of it is this etched triangle that's half embossed. And so I was pretty amazed by that when I found out about it. And I got in contact with the guy who was one of the partners who created the technology, called Arch Mission Foundation. He's based in Oxford in London at the university. And so their plans were to create these discs filled with information, and they can store 320 terabytes on the size of a small coin. And the data retention rate, instead of being a magnetic or a physical etching on a record, it's almost molecularly encoded in the quartz. And they reckon it's got a data retention rate of 3 billion years. This information will last, which is pretty fucking astounding.
Assuming too that the receiver of it has the technology to read the data off this side.
That's always like the big problem.
And that's what I had the issue with, was when I talked to him, he revealed to me that there's only 2 readers currently on the planet that can read these discs. And I said, how useless is that? That's pointless. We need to proliferate these readers all over the world to make it possible that in the future that we'd be able to read these discs. Otherwise, what's the fucking point?
Like we were saying last week about how they sent the records up in the time capsule. Space, but they didn't send a record player with it.
Yep. Yeah.
They just assume that like there'll be extraterrestrial life that will be so smart. They'll be so smart that they'll just immediately go like, "Oh, these guys figured out how to make records. Yeah, kid." And they'll just like, "Hey guys, let's just go make a record player and find out what's up with these crazy kids." What's up, guys?
Ancient history.
I sometimes I just wonder like what these dipshits are thinking. Like I just like I don't know. Just talk to a guy who's done anything in their life, and you'd literally be like, "Oh, cool! You guys are gonna send a record up there. Like, how you gonna listen to it?
Yeah.
Like, they're aliens. They're smart. They'll just figure it out because they're wicked smart. Like
the second part of this story goes along like this. Within the crystal collections around the world, there's a lot of quartzes that already have a not an equilateral, an isosceles triangle marking on the surface.
Right.
And amongst collectors, we refer to them as record keepers already. So this guy who's, an Oxford doctorate professor, whatever, had no idea that amongst the esoteric community, we already talk about crystals already having records in them. And I asked him, was he aware of that? He said no. And then my next flurry of emails back to him was, why don't you go and obtain some natural quartz that is marked with records on it, that says it's got records, and try and read the natural quartz to find out if there's any stored information.
Right.
And he said, I'm astounded by what you've said to me. It'll take me a long time to work this out. I said, I've got this master record keeper at home. Would you be willing to come over to Australia with one of these reading machines, and we can do some work together and check this crystal out to see if there's any workable data on it? He said, no, we don't have any plans to expand our reading capability to Australia. I said, well, it's the most stable continent on the planet. You should get a reader out to Australia. It'd be very important. And he tried to get me to send this crystal via, air freight over to England. And I said, fuck no. This thing belongs in Australia. It was found in Australia. It's not leaving Australia. If you want to read it, if you're intrigued, bring the reader to Australia. We can do some work. But never heard back from him again. So, that's the conundrum that we face, is that antediluvian or pre-flood civilizations might have had higher levels of technology. And if we look at the fossil record, we get these big rust events where there is so much iron oxide that is just this giant fucking layer. And whenever the iron oxide mega rust events have happened, pretty much any technology that bases itself on iron, which is very useful as a structural tool or for vehicles or for technology, when this biological rust weapon gets unleashed, all the iron just basically turns to red oxide, and the structures just crumble and everything falls to pieces. And we go back to tribal civilization, and we get things like Aboriginals who revere red ochre, which is basically iron oxide rust, and they use it in face painting. And I'm sure a lot of other cultures all over the world do the same thing. And they always celebrate when the fall of technology happens again, and we go back to nature again. And it's done this. I think there's 3 known big rust events in the fossil record on the planet of Earth. So, you know, we're due for that again sometime soon. In Alaska, in
the scheme of the Earth, it's sometime soon. But
yeah,
you know, yeah.
So in Alaska, in the oil pipeline, they sent a what's called a pig, which flies through the oil pipeline and scans the walls for any weaknesses. They sent one through, and within 2 weeks of them doing a scan and it all showing an all clear, some biological thing had come out of the oil and eaten a big hole in the pipeline, and oil spilled everywhere. And they got samples of it, and this biological entity, which is like a bacterium that was surviving in the oil in stasis, got into the iron of the pipeline and ate it out within 2 weeks, and they've weaponized it. So, you know, good luck to us. Of course they have. Yeah.
Well, I will say this, that the pipelines in Alaska break all the time.
Yeah.
Literally, like one of my uncles used to man like a 40-mile stretch of the pipeline up there. He'd live in a log cabin in the dark and ride out and check the pipeline the hard way on a snow machine. So, I mean, I'm going to say I'm a little suspicious of the bacteria eating the pipeline up there, and the reality being that the pipeline breaks
may have been
all over the time. All of the time.
Yeah.
But like, you know, as far as like weaponized bacteria and all sorts of stuff like that, I mean, it's bound to happen at some point, you know. So then again, just normal viruses happen, and people get sick and die. So, you know.
Yeah.
When does that happen?
Right? Meow. Right? Meow. Right? Meow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole record thing that reminds me of that bit in, can't remember if it was Mad Max 2 or the Thunderdome one.
The Sonics.
They had the record on the stick and they're spinning it around.
That's right.
Maybe that's what aliens will do with the records we send into space.
Yeah, probably. They probably just hang out in a down
Put it on the stick and
down
spin
747. I like the feral kid from Mad Max. That's my favorite character.
Yeah, the little silver boomerang dude.
Yeah.
Wonder what he's up to today. Where's he when you need him?
I don't know. Let's find out.
They got Rhys Davies back for Humongous. They got him back for Morton Joe.
Who?
In the original Mad Max, not Toe Cutter. The main dude, the main gang member.
Yeah,
they got him back to become
Joe
Morton Joe. Yeah, he just
was that the same dude that was in Commando with Schwarzenegger? Let off some steam, Bennett. That guy?
Don't think so. No.
The feral kid from Mad Max?
No. The dude that Z-Beam is talking about. I thought that was the actor who was in Commando with Schwarzenegger. Hello, Crystal. How are you, love?
Hello.
And Streetwise.
I don't know, but they're remaking Predator, I think.
Huh?
More
I think they're
Predator.
remaking. I think they're remaking Predator.
Yeah, I
sounds
heard
fun.
that too.
Like,
Why
why
not?
not? Why not?
Exactly. I like the
Like-
way you think.
Like, that's a movie you could remake and like why not? I don't know. It's just like some commandos fighting an alien in the jungle. I mean, just make a new version. That's fine.
And that was one of my
it's when they
movies.
remake all these classics. Like it just like the Predator. It doesn't have anything. It doesn't have anything in it that is real contextual to like the time, right? Other than just like a bunch of goofy one-liners. Like, all right. But like if like you remake the Karate Kid or something, I don't know, I'm just trying to think of something like the Goonies or like they always just want to remake these movies that where it's just like, oh, we made a new one, and they just do such a terrible job at it. It's like, just stop doing that.
Yeah, it's a shame when they fuck up movies that are already designated classics.
Yeah.
And then they try and do a cash cow and fuck it up big time.
Like they made The Witcher, right? Like The Witcher was a video game, and they literally made it into a TV show, and it worked. Like, remake something that's not that thing.
Yeah.
Just make a thing based on something else. Like, like the YouTube series I've been watching about the story of Orange, the ice world cannibal and his survival story could make a great movie. And just the procedural generation of random event games are great plot creator tools. Like that's why The Witcher works, because it's it's based on a video game where there's this ongoing story and
like you have a story, you have a storyline. That's the biggest. That's the biggest key, right? Is like having a storyline. Like if you have an established storyline, you're really going to be able to do something, and whereas oftentimes, we end up with like, let's just tell the same story again. Now, see, I'm not upset with the Predator being remade because there's no story. There's no story. You're literally, it's just things are being shot and blown up. The coolest part of that movie is that the Predator has that like the heat vision, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the coolest part of the whole movie. That's the coolest part. The infrared vision of him like zooming in and like, oh, let me switch. I'm gonna switch to infrared. Now I'm going to heat. Now I'm going to this. That's the coolest part of that whole movie. Like I don't care about sexual Tyrannosaurus one-liners. I don't care about how many governors are in that movie, right? Like it just doesn't, like none of that stuff really matters all that much. And you could just remake that movie with The Rock and some other guys and be like, there's these buff guys and they fought an alien in the jungle and that's the story.
I have a strange feeling that the only thing that Predator was based on was that someone had worked out how to get that infrared technology onto film.
Yeah.
And so someone thought, how do we get this into a movie and use it well?
It's literally like they just did it backwards. Like somebody figured out like how to get that effect. And then it was like, well, why would anybody be using this? What's the deal? It's like, well, they might use it in the jungle. Like they might use it in the jungle, but nobody has this technology. Who would have this technology? Oh, I bet you a space alien with he's gonna have neon blood, of course.
And
space
alien.
Like a smashed crab.
Yeah.
Should he have like a weird toothy vagina face situation thing going on? Like, it'd be wild.
Put it in the script.
Yeah, like if a crab and a vagina and a bunch of pile of teeth made a face. That's it right there. We've got it. It's going to be movie gold. It's going to be movie platinum. It's not even gold.
And indeed it was. T and Aqua, how are you?
I like how
just chasing the flies, Mickham, with my fly. What?
I like how the
Right.
Predator wears that really wide gauge. It's like really wide gauge fishnets. Have you
Yeah.
noticed that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so hot.
Very zesty, right?
Kept the teenage boys entertained. It wasn't the guns and the violence that kept them in. It was the fishnets.
And also the stealth technology, like making the Predator invisible, saved a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely saves a ton of money. We're like, where is he? I don't know. He's invisible.
You can't
again, guys.
see him. Oh, clever ways of cheapening your film. Yeah.
Well, it's like how do you avoid the reveal? You know, it's like how do you avoid the reveal of the thing that's getting them, right? Like how do you avoid the reveal of the bad guy?
Yeah.
Like, well, he's invisible, guys.
Yeah.
While you've got your Google search window open, what do you call it? How much it costs to make the original Predator, please?
Oh, let's see.
That was yeah, I think that would be interesting because I reckon they probably would have saved a bit of money not having to show the creature all the time.
It's actually pretty big budget for 1987. 1987.
I watch Aussie Man reviews. He is funny as hell.
Aussie Man is great. Yeah.
He's about as Aussie as we come.
It's legit. You're right. $18 million in 1987.
And that when you're talking about movie budgets, that includes the actors' salaries, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure even in 87, Arnie was probably commanding quite a hefty fee.
Yep.
You know, he would have got one or two of those millions.
Right.
What was one of
as Arnie got hard.
I mean, we'd have to look it up. I mean, we'd have to look it up to find out. We'd have to look it up to find out like how much they made, but that is like it's so hard to find. Like, it's hard to find how much people get paid now. It's really hard to find out how much people got paid like 35 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
Plus, they'd not only get their appearance money, but they'd get royalties and DVD sales percentages, all that kind of shit as well.
How many of the dudes were WWF wrestlers? I think Sergeant Slaughter was in there.
Jesse Ventura.
Yeah, Jesse Ventura. I think he did a stint as a wrestler.
Yeah, he was a wrestler and a politician.
Yeah, right. Yep.
Wrestler first, then a politician later.
Yeah.
He did. I think he did quite a couple of movies along his career.
And so to give you an idea, like the original Top Gun was a $15 million budget.
Yeah.
Wow. With all of those airplanes and everything.
It was an advertisement for the Air Force. They did a lot of pro bono work for them. So it's like join the Navy for the Simpsons episode,
Well, it was actually kind of before. It was before the propaganda really was happening in the United States. So like Top Gun was made in like 1985. So obviously by that point in time, they'd already established that like if you were a guy who did stuff that was awesome army stuff, that was just cool. But they didn't have that like synergy with the American, the military industrial complex to like, sell everything as an advertisement for whatever.
Right.
Because they never really hit that. I can't remember the date. I wonder when the date. Hold on, let me see. Product placement in movies. I know I was actually like digging into this like a while ago as to like when product
when
placement
it became a thing.
Yeah, when it became a thing because it became a part of the budget. And I was trying to figure out, like, this is gonna
surely in
take
Top
me a
Gun,
long time, like when the first one happened, but it
But
really
sh-
was.
they'd need military permission to show some of the stuff in Top Gun.
They
Like, this
did.
is not
I've seen the background of that. I've
Yeah.
seen the making of Top Gun from the military standpoint.
Yeah.
So basically, what they did with all of the planes flying around and everything is they just got the Navy to shoot stock footage of flying around in the planes and just having them do goofy shit.
Yeah.
And then they had the generals come in when they were editing and going like, does this look right for what could be happening? Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then even the generals that they interview are like, yeah, there's just, if I watch it, there's all these parts that you would never even do that in a dogfight ever. And they were like, really? Like which parts? And he was like, oh yeah, okay, I'll show you. And so like they go through and there's like parts where the plane like does a barrel roll. He's like, why the hell would you do a barrel roll in a dogfight? You're in the exact same spot, so you will get shot. Like you
Yeah,
haven't changed.
You're a little
You
bit
haven't
more
gone any direction. You got to
Yeah.
go away from being shot by guns and missiles, right? And he's like,
Mm.
if you're literally just spinning around like this, he's like, your plane is still flying in the exact same trajectory. You're just tumbling around, which means you just get shot. Like
Yeah.
you would just, he's like, you would never do that in a dogfight. And so they actually went through all of those shots with those generals, and they were like laughing about it because it had been like 20 years, you know. And so that was the one thing that was kind of a an instance that that like the military was brought in, but they like no one really from the movie had anything to do with the filming. They just got a bunch of film of planes and then just edited it in. And then of course everything else was just shot like in these like mock-up pilot, cockpits that they had. So
Right.
And the one big part in that movie that was like literally written by the Navy was how Goose died, right? So they needed like a plausible way for Goose to die, who's the co-pilot, right? That wasn't the fault of the Navy, right? So it couldn't be represented as gross negligence of the Navy, right? Like it couldn't just be like a general that's like, hey, go out there and fly and shoot stuff, So like you couldn't have that. So they had to figure out like how Goose could die during some kind of mission that wouldn't look badly on the Navy itself, right?
How did Goose die?
And so they came up with they had a problem with the plane, and then they went to eject, and when they ejected, he hits the canopy, and then that's how he ends up dying, just getting hit in the head.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, it's just a tragic accident that may happen, at some point where it's like, this isn't really anybody's fault. This is just a mechanical error or whatever. So that's like the part of the movie that was written by the military forces. But at the time, like there was no money exchange or any of that kind of stuff. But like nowadays, but it's the same director, Jerry Bruckheimer. He did the Transformers, right? Or producer, Jerry Bruckheimer. Like he did the Transformers, and then those guys were on the take with the military of like, hey guys, you got to make the military look cool in your robot fighty space movie. Come on, hey, come on, guy. Hey, take this money and buy a gold boat. But this was the thing that I wanted to bring up. The product placement in Top Gun. Can you guess what it is that put the sales over the top?
No.
Beach volleyball in jeans.
Well, you can't sell beach volleyball in jeans, but
Days of Thunder was mellow yellow.
I think there was a lot more beach volleyball in jeans happening. That's for sure. Ray-Ban sunglasses.
Gotcha.
Ray-Ban sunglasses they were sold out like
Wayfarers and the aviators.
Yeah.
Which is like an accidental like, whoops, I guess we sold these sunglasses. Like, bitches, you know. But it was right around that time where they started getting the ideas to get paid by products with like because there's like with Superman 2. There you go. Yeah, see, Top Gun. It's
selling.
created,
Still selling to this day.
Strong, still selling strong. But like Back to the Future had shoes. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles had Pizza Hut. Like they were obsessed with the Pizza Hut. There's a bunch of examples, but like a lot of the product placement synergy stuff I could only find was like after Top Gun. The only stuff that I could find was like the little bit later 80s, early 90s when companies really started stepping in and being like, you got to put Pepsi in here. Like they have to drink Pepsi a lot, you know, like, because, you know, like as somebody who's a big fan of the film production itself, like it throws me right the hell out of watching something when it's like, I'll have a Pepsi. Like, why is that in this movie? Like, why is that in this movie? Why did he just say he wanted Pepsi? You know what I mean? It's like what's the name of that beer you have there?
Woodstock bourbon.
The Woodstock bourbon and cola. Like it would be bizarro if he went, you know, if he like went in somewhere and was like, I'll have a Woodstock bourbon and cola, please, in the can, and then like turn the label towards the screen, like it's delicious. Like that would be bizarre in a movie that was about some I don't know, some guy who's trying to find his lost dog. I don't know, whatever the hell it could be. You know, like that takes me out. It takes me so out of just trying to watch something that like it's, you know, I don't know.
There was certainly that there was a major patch through the, I'm going to say like the early through mid 90s where the product placement just started becoming really ridiculous. Like if you had a scene going on and there'd be a product, you know, sitting right up in the foreground.
Yeah.
While there's a conversation going on over here or something. And they use a long focal length so that the product was in focus as well as
there's like a big ass billboard right behind him, like just inexplicably in the scene, you know, like
just make sure their discussion doesn't cover the brand name.
Yeah, don't cover the branding.
G'day IHSP. How's it going?
I mean, I guess I understand it because like,
and Vitra. Sorry, I missed Vitra's entrance.
I would say that like I would likely fall prey to going like, I really want to make this project. How can I get the funding to do it? And it turns out like the only funding is
product placement,
some motor oil or something. You know what I mean? Like you'd be like, okay, well, I guess we're making Days of Thunder. I don't know.
Yeah. I had a massive a friend who works with she had a prop warehouse filled with dated items of furniture and stuff going back to the 60s and 70s, 80s and 90s, and I had a massive collection of the old Jack Daniels bottles, and my father-in-law bloody well took them all to the tip, and he didn't realize why I was keeping them. But yeah, I was really bummed out. But they changed the bottle design, and I found out that one of the reasons they changed the bottle design was because Family Guy started showing the square bottle like in their animation style, and Jack Daniels saw this product placement that was in a TV show and decided maybe we will change our bottles to look more like the cartoon. So they actually did a reverse product placement where they made their bottles look like the cartoon version of their bottles.
That's
very
modern marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when things start getting that way, I think we're all kind of screwed, right? I think we're all. I mean, I literally I was having a conversation just recently with a dude I grew up with you know, and he's one of these guys that's like, you know, taxation is theft, and you know, down with the government because the government is we need a tiny government. We need no government, right? And you're
Ugh.
like, okay, dude. Then which corporation would you like to live under then?
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
and he's like, well, what do you mean? And I'm like, well, who would fill that power vacuum, right?
Mm.
Like as soon as you took government regulatory process out of the way, like who would step in and take over then? Like Philip Morris cigarettes? Like I guess we would just live under their military or something. I don't know, what would they do? Like they just take over because they
Yeah.
have all the ability to do that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so and it's like, well, that wouldn't happen. It's like, of course that would happen. Like, why would that not happen? Like they're doing it now with the regulations and the powers that are already stopping them from completely taking over, right? They're already doing that. You know, I mean, you just look at the consolidation of like Amazon, right? Like just look how gigantic Amazon is, or AliExpress, or even just those companies that basically like AliExpress, Amazon, like they just started out selling stuff that other people made, right?
Mm.
They're just like, hey, we're the middleman. Like, what's up, dude? And they've turned into these like, you know, $200 or $1 trillion businesses, right? Like those corporations would just fill that spot that the government currently exists in. And he's like, well, no, we would just be free, and then we wouldn't have to pay taxes. And I'm like, well, I guess you have a simple mind, and I congratulate you for that. And I'm glad that you have some ideas that you've come up with, but your ideas are shit, and you should throw them in the trash and start over because, yeah, I mean, like Pepsi Cola right now, like influences film and shipping lanes, and you know, like the cost of CO2 or the cost of aluminum, right? Like it's just all this crap that people don't bother to think about. But I don't know.
Well, he's obviously not read or seen enough media about dystopian futures where mega corporations rule rather than nations. And there's a good series called I think it's called the Mutant Chronicles or the Armageddon Chronicles. Pretty bad movies, but they're based on a science fiction gaming system that's all about a future where terraforming's real, and pretty much all the main world cultures are all represented by mega corporations like Imperial or Cybertronic, and you know the world's been, the Earth is taken over by mega corps, and people live and breathe and die under mega corporations rule. And you basically grow up, you get assigned a job, and you go do that job, and that's it. You know that you're stuck with it. You can't leave.
Well, that was like Ready Player One.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys saw that. Like that was a good. I think that was a good take on the like clearly, you know, a corporation could take over and be sort of like the one entity body, but like also humans are still human. You know.
Yeah.
They've still got the power to do shit.
And the Ready Player 2 as a novel has been released.
Cam is here from the fish room in Zeds, bro. How are you, Cam? Good to see you, man. Long time no see.
Yeah, Ready Player 2's been released as a book, so we'll get that as a movie eventually.
I think they're in production. Huh?
Yeah.
Is that a spoiler if it's Ready Player 2? Does that mean that Player 1 died?
No, I just think that they're making a sequel.
Yeah. I think they made
a bad attempt at comedy.
Yeah. There's already a trailer for Ready Player 2. The teaser trailer is already out.
Nice. And speaking of video game movies, Monster Hunter with Mila Jovovich, the trailer for that looks really fun.
Oh yeah, the Monster Hunter.
Yeah,
that looks like
wild.
I think anything with Mila Jovovich on it in it looks good.
Oh, she's just wonderful.
Where were you an hour and a half ago, mate? Where were you? I had a nice big rack for you. Come up here. Come on, up here.
Yeah,
It's
so
too
Ready
hard.
Player 2 came out November 24th.
Oh, no.
Ready Player 2, the sequel to the 2018 film,
So
is
scary.
currently in the works.
Nice.
The screenplay is being adapted, so it's gonna be a long time from now because that's a Spielberg film, so that's gonna take
17
forever.
rewrites.
That's gonna take forever. We're gonna have seen Mandalorian season 3. We're gonna have seen Boba Fett, the Book of Boba Fett. And we're gonna have seen Ashoka. We're gonna see like 16 different Star Wars series before that damn movie comes out. That's gonna be forever.
I've got to go wrestle a crocodile and refill this. I'll be back in a tick.
No worries.
It's got to take a whiz and refill.
My lovely wife has just made me some food, so I better go in a minute too. I might be back, depending on what happens, but I'll stick around until Michael gets back. Yeah. So yeah,
What was
Monster
it,
Hunter could be so cheese, but it could be. It has potential to be really good.
What's that?
Monster Hunter.
Oh yeah. Like my guess is it'll be, man. I don't know. I mean, it's like it's Mila Jovovich, so it could definitely be bad. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But it could
Yeah.
definitely be good though too. And I don't think she's been in very many things recently, has she? Like,
No, she's had a quiet period. I think with all the
I think she's,
Resident
like,
Evil
taking
movies.
I think she's taken like a break. I think.
Yeah.
Got to admit, she's always been she's always been on the list of like, you know, the list.
Yeah.
Let's see, IMDb. What was like her most recent stuff? Let's see. The Rookies, Hellboy. I don't know what Paradise Hills is. Future World. No, she's been working like crazy. I thought she took a break. So I was thinking Monster Hunter might be, I would say like it almost, is it out?
Could be.
Oh. Shit, I think it's out. It says it came out in 2020.
Good to get to the cinema. Yeah.
It must be out.
We got cable here at home, and they've been express releasing movies instead of doing them at the cinema. You get them straight on cable, but they charge you like $20 for the quick release version.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, but Vicky and I were talking about that the other day. Is like if we went to see a movie, though,
Yeah.
like if we went to the theater, it would cost at least $20
More. Yeah.
and likely more.
Yeah.
So I mean, that at least feels to me like, I don't know, man. Like, it still feels wrong paying that much to watch a movie at home.
It does, but you've got your own lounge room, and if you've got a good TV and a good sound system, and you can pause it, you can go to the bathroom, you can pause it to talk or rewind it even. That's so much more of a luxury than going to a bloody cinema. Even though cinemas are nice.
Yeah, I don't know. I think personally, I feel like, it's, I don't know. I feel like $10 is kind of the top, right? Like, and I'm not saying that like from any kind of realistic standpoint, but I'm just saying like my feeling is like, yeah, but it's $13 for Netflix all month. And they're going to at least put out a movie,
Yeah.
$20 to watch this one movie, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. It feels over the I don't know. To me, it just feels like it's over the mark. As far as like just watching something at home.
Yeah.
I feel like $10 is like hell yeah, let's watch that.
Yeah.
$20 it just feels like too much. It feels like there's
I feel bad for the singles out there that have cable, and it's like $20 for one person to watch it. No, that's not good.
What's $20?
The express release movies on Foxtel.
Oh,
so
really?
Instead of going to the cinema, you can watch something that's quick release straight to the TV. But yeah, you get a 24-hour period to watch it. But yeah, that costs quite a bit.
Bloody hell! I thought $7 or $8 was bad enough for a movie on Netflix. Amazon. Sorry.
Amazon. Yeah.
That's
All
the
right,
thing.
guys.
Like
I got to go and eat some food, but I might be back later. But take care, guys. See ya. It's been fun.
All right, take it easy.
Bye.
Yeah, we were just talking about how like the new releases now, they'll come out right away, but they're like $20, so you can watch it at home, and it's like $19.99 because it's like the day it releases, And it was like, well, if we went to the theater, if there's two of us, it would cost more than $20,
Yeah, true that.
You're like, okay, I can see where the rationale there is, right? And it also, like in the front of your mind, it makes sense when you're like, yeah, but that's how much it would cost to go see it in the theater. But I don't know. I feel like $10 is kind of like the top tier as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I mean, you'd kind of, I guess, be willing to pay $10 each if you've got like a nice big screen at home and a good sound system and stuff. Then you're still going to get that same sort of experience,
right?
How do they go?
I feel like the $10 thing, like $10 feels like okay, like all right, yeah, I can deal with that. The $20, it just feels like too much. I don't know.
Yeah, like you say, unless there's more than one person watching it.
Well, yeah, if you're watching it by yourself, you're definitely paying too much. That's for sure.
No one's paying $20 for a solo movie.
It feels like way too much. You'd have to be like a super fan of whatever it is, and it's like
your money's just spilling out of your anus at will.
Well, I mean, if you got that going on, then like you don't have these kinds of considerations.
G'day, Donald Fish vibes. Welcome. What's the vibe with cinemas in the States with, say, if you go in with a backpack with your own snacks and beverages in there?
Well, in the past it was like really frowned upon.
Yeah.
I would say like through the 90s and 2000s up to like 2010 or whatever. I was like, and it's still frowned upon now. Like you're not supposed to bring stuff in, but like they're not really going to put up a big fuss if you've got some candy bars in your purse. Like what are they going to do? Like are you going to end up on you know what I'm saying? Like are you going to end up on the news tonight because you got in a scuffle with somebody because they were eating a candy bar in your movie theater? Like it's just not. And the people that work there don't give a shit. They don't care. Like what?
Yeah, they're not paid enough to worry about that.
Like they're not even. I mean, they're hardly even classified as employees. You know what I mean? It's like, I bet you when you go in there for their training video or whatever the hell they have you watch is like, hey, you should know that you're a temporary employee. We don't give a shit about you. So we're going to pay you accordingly, and we hope that you don't have bad diarrhea while you're working. Like what kind of training are these people getting? It's like this is up and that's down and walk over that way and push a button. I don't know.
We hope you care more about this job than we care about you.
Yeah. We hope that you're so poor that this job becomes important to you, or you'll start in debt.
The what was the last film Actually, it was Empire Strikes Back was the last movie that I saw in a cinema. Not in 1985. Only
I was gonna
just
say, like,
last
what?
year.
Oh, you went last year to watch a re.
Yeah, they put
Passion.
A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi through the cinemas during COVID again.
I don't think I would go see A New Hope in the theater.
Well, I missed that one. By the time I heard that they were doing the Star Wars movies in the cinemas, it was already up to Empire. So me and my son, Abel, went and saw Empire. And yeah, we took in it wasn't a backpack. It was just a normal shopping bag. And,
I know.
bag of chips and some chocolates. And I took in a 4-pack of these guys.
Speaking of, yeah. Well, I mean, if you go to a reviewing type movie theater, right? Like, if you go to a movie theater where they're like re-showing stuff, it's even more lax than the regular theater.
I think it was a it's a Hoyts. Hoyts is one of the big brands of cinema chains in Australia, and I think they were purely rerunning some old films because of there was just fuck all movies coming out with the COVID and stuff. So yeah, there was probably 22 people in the entire cinema.
Right.
When we went, and I'm sure there were, a few little these ones from people in front of me every time I opened a can, but
yeah.
Essentially no one dobbed me in, and I didn't get dragged off out the hall for having alcoholic beverages in a non-BYO venue.
TN Aqua's asking, have I made any new sumps lately? I actually haven't made any new sumps. I am working on kind of like a comprehensive sump video. But like every time I'm working on editing it, I end up like reshooting certain parts. And so that will be coming out like fairly soonish. Like I wanted to have it out a couple of weeks ago, but I started getting into making these shorts. So like YouTube right now has these like little short video things where they're like under a minute. And so I've just been kind of like fooling around with that for a little while because YouTube has mentioned that it's basically like the only thing that they're going to organically promote over the next I don't know, however long, 6 months, 9 months, a year, 100 years.
Hasn't Fish Fam been going nuts over the shorts hashtag?
No, I don't. I personally haven't been seeing very much of it. So
I did a couple, but my shorts were 2 frogs videos, and I can't remember the other one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, YouTube
so
didn't promote them at all.
Yeah, so I just kind of like switched gears working on that. As far as like big projects go, I'm going to be rebuilding my fish shop, the shop that I work out of right now at my house. We're going to be rebuilding that, but that's like way down the line. No traveling is even booked for this year, so I don't even know if I'm going to be able to film anywhere. Right now, we're just kind of focused on hopefully getting vaccinated at some point in time and seeing where things go from there. What's that?
Hasn't that caused a stir around the world?
It's
all of these countries that aren't getting their vaccinations, and other countries are getting them first.
I just, the thing that boggles my mind is that, so running into like this pandemic developed. It's been happening for an extremely long time. They knew they were making vaccines, and it seems to be that no one has a real comprehensive vaccination plan. Like right now, they're like, well, if you're over 65 years old, you can sign up on this weird-ass website to get in line for a vaccine. And it's like,
Yeah, because we
I'm-
know that most
I'm-
people over 65 are very fluent with signing into websites,
Yeah,
aren't they?
I mean they're all over it. You know what I'm
They're
saying? Like they're on
lucky.
Twitter. They're out there on Twitter. They're sending out. They're just blasting the internet with just how much they're on it.
The amount of over 65s OnlyFans out there is ridiculous.
That's right. And I got in a big argument with my mother today because she's been volunteering to vaccinate. So she's been working, vaccinating people. And it's like, it's just a cluster. It's just a cluster. It's so screwed up. Like just how they're putting it out. And I'm like, I got in an argument with my mom today because I was like, where's our military? Right? Like we spend $1 trillion a year on our military and we're not utilizing them to like get this vaccine out or produce the vaccine or administer it or what are they doing? Like what's the plan here?
Concern.
Well, I mean, like at the very least, you're talking about like 700,000 government employees that could be
helping.
hell-bent administering a vaccine, right? But like they're like, no, I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to bring all the nurses that are retired out of retirement to come and go down to the pharmacy and start vaccinating elderly people at the pharmacy. You're like,
on a volunteer basis.
On a volunteer basis. They got to be volunteering.
There
and
we
you're
go.
like, I'm like, this is the plan with like, I don't, like, okay, I guess this is how it's going. Like, rad. Did anybody think that this would be an important thing to do over the last year? I guess maybe not. I don't know.
And how my biggest concern is that they say that it requires minus 70 degrees, whether that be Celsius or Fahrenheit. That's a very cold temperature to be able to maintain.
There's some of them that have to be there's some that have to be held like extremely cold, and there's like one that does, and then one that doesn't need to be held extremely cold, and you know, it's just like I don't know. It's just
it's pretty wild.
It's just pretty stupid. I don't know, honestly. Oh, I have top chat on. That's why. I need live chat. That's what I need. God, I've had top chat on this whole time. I haven't been able to keep track.
I don't think with I think we maxed out at like less than 30 people. So
it's been a pretty chill week. It's been a pretty chill week as far as like internet stuff. Realistically, people have been kind of down in the dumps.
Yeah, everyone's just trying to catch up on all of the tennis that's going on in Australia right now.
Oh God, tennis! It's so important. It's an important sport.
Some of the finest legs you'll ever see on television.
Yeah. But as far as like fish tanks go, I was supposed to pick up a new used tank from a fella who's quite the aquascaper. He was getting rid of a tank. I was supposed to pick up a new tank because I'm going to be giving one of my tanks to Alyssa Bentley, who
#no relation.
That's right. Her man just bought a home, so I'm going to give her one of my tanks and buy this other tank and set up this other tank, because why not? You know.
It's all circles, isn't it?
It's the
Set one up, pull one down. Set one up, pull one down. Reset one, unset one. Or stuff like that.
It's like that, yeah. But I've been wanting to do a shallow tank here for quite a while. And I was none too enthusiastic about building one because it takes up a lot of space in my shop, and it also takes up time. So
just for the construction process.
I found one on the cheaps from a local bro, and
what do you call a shallow tank? What's your dimension?
So it's 8 inches tall
That is
by 36 inches wide, so like side to side, 24 inches deep. So it's only like yay tall. 8 inches. What is that? 17
inches,
centimeters.
Yeah, I was going to
18
say about
centimeters,
20
something like that.
centimeters.
Yeah. It's not very tall. So let's go 8-inch.
G'day, Paddy Shaddy. Paddy Shaddy
Yeah,
in the house.
Yeah, right at 20 centimeters tall. And then, so let's see, 36 inches wide is 91 centimeters wide, 92. And then 24 inches front to back, so 60 centimeters front to back.
I like that footprint. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And only 8 inches tall.
Yeah. So just a cool, fun, shallow tank to run for a little while. Something fun to set up in the meantime. So I was going to move a bunch of the tanks around and do a bunch of stuff in my fish room. Vicky and I eventually decided that we're going to do some remodeling on the house here. So we ended up, we were looking into doing like a line of credit, but the interest rates are so low right now. We ended up we're going through the loan process right now and just take out a loan, and then we'll replace the building outside with a different building. And when that happens, I'll put a new fish room in there.
Yeah, the Central Bank of Australia did a review of interest rates yesterday, and they decided to leave the interest rates alone at 0.5 of 1%.
Yeah, it's bonkers low right now. Yeah.
Some countries have got negative interest rates. How good's that?
They just pay you to take the money.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Like, if you've got a credit card bill, is the bank paying off your credit card very slowly, or what? How does that work? I'm confused.
Well, no, credit card is revolving credit, so that's still going to be at they're still charging 27% or something crazy,
Jesus, I hope mine's not that much. I think mine's about 19, which is ridiculous enough.
Yeah, I think last time I checked, I have pretty good credit. I really cleaned that up 10 years ago, and
that makes one of us.
I think mine's only 12% or something like that, but I always pay it off, so yeah.
Did you see the box that I held up just before?
Oh, no. I did not.
I have a Star Wars trivia box, but it's full of not only Star Wars trivia cards, but Marvel trivia as well.
Uh-oh.
It's a shame. It's a shame we don't have more Marvel and Star Wars fans in the house. But we could do some Marvel and or Star Wars trivia questions.
Yeah.
For what on earth might the prize be on my channel? That's right, buckets of kudos. Sent out almost immediately in the post. Looks like S is into it.
Oh, S is going to win.
What do you want first, S? Do you want a Marvel question or a Star Wars question? All takers, come on. Let's see where the trivia lies. And just, I consider myself a reasonable Star Wars fan. I'm no Corvus Oskin or my mate Brett when it comes to the facts of Star Wars.
Brett's a killer, man. Brett is a killer.
His memory works on this amazing level. Yeah. I get messages from him daily, and he's recapping storylines and telling me this would lead to here and this would make a great movie. His brain operates in a really, really interesting space, but I'm super thankful for it because, if ever I've got an issue with any of my Star Wars questions, I know I can go to him and I get a reasonable answer.
Right.
It blows my mind. We can have a half an hour conversation and I can just be left completely dumbfounded by the stuff that I'm supposed to have learned. Star Wars trivia. First question. How many nostrils do tauntauns have? Now, I can do this as a multiple choice because it does seem that the answers are presented to me as multiple choice.
Mm-hmm.
So, how many nostrils do tauntauns have? A, 2. B, 4. C, 6. D, 8. Type your answers into the chat. A big bucket of kudos could be on its way to you. What do you reckon, Corvus? What's your answer?
I was going to say 2.
I'll wait for a few more answers to come in. My reaction when you said 2 might have potentially eliminated one of the answers from the list.
Could have been.
Yeah, it is a bit confusing when I'm saying A, B, C, D, and asking numbers as a result. Cichlids Aquarium Keeper, I'm assuming, is answering 4 as in 4 nostrils, not 4 as in representing the letter D. And yeah, Paddy, 2 nostrils does seem so mundane. I'm thinking about expanding my collection of nostrils to at least 4.
I mean, I know I got it wrong.
And
I'll be right back.
4 does happen to be the amount of nostrils a tauntaun has. So the B was the answer. Cichlids Aquarium Keeper and Donald Fish Vibes. Big buckets of kudos out in the post to you, gentlemen. Crikey. I'm not even going to go to the other question on that page because I wouldn't know the answer to that myself. It would be nasty for me to ask questions that I don't know the answers to. Indeed. Well done, Donald, and well done, Kaka. Oh, let's try and go for I think Marvel's down this end. Marvel Comics. Oh, right. Did I miss you, Paddy? Ah, yeah. Sorry, Paddy. I did miss you. Paddy, you'll get an extra ladle full of kudos in your bucket in the post just to cover my error. And yes, by all means, if I do fuck something up like that, by all means, point it out to me. Zen Ginger, what the devil are you still doing awake? Do we want Marvel questions as well? Should I alternate? Not sure how it should go. Oh my God, I don't even have a clue of either of these Marvel questions, but I'm not the most Marvel person.
What do we got?
Cichlids Aquarium Keeper, when are you going to send it to me in the past? Surely you've got one by now, Cac. All right. I'm absolutely terrible with my Marvel knowledge, and I have absolutely no idea with either of these questions. I have 2 questions on this card, Corvus. Shall I do question 1 or question 2?
5.
Question 5. Okay. All right. Marvel question. Here we go. Get your fingers on your buzzers. What superhero team did Sharon Carter join as Agent 13? Now, this one is a multiple choice as well. So I probably should give the potential answers. Is it C, the Thunderbolts, B, Young Avengers, or A, Secret Avengers? I'm just trying it out, S, you know? It could be a thing.
I don't
if
know.
it
I
works,
mean,
it will.
I guess I would have to go with B.
I don't even know who Sharon Carter is. Who's Sharon Carter? And who's Agent 13? I mean, obviously, Agent 13 is Sharon Carter, but I don't know these people. Who the hell was Sharon Carter?
Oh, she was a Secret Avenger, not the Young Avenger. So I guess I
No,
was
but-
wrong.
The answer is the Secret Avengers, but that's what I was saying. Yes,
She was like the girlfriend of Captain America.
Was she?
Yeah, I think she was like the girlfriend of Captain America later on.
Pat-
right?
Patty raises an interesting point that it's the secret whatever they were called, and that's why we don't know of her. Aquaman,
That's
g'day,
It's a
how are
good
you?
point. It's a good point that it's a secret. Yeah, so we wouldn't know.
But like that's my thing is I've pulled out like maybe I haven't gone too deep into the Star Wars trivia cards,
Mhm.
but oh there we go. S is all over it. It's someone's kid. The Star Wars trivia cards I've pulled them out and not known any of the answers so far. Oh, g'day, BJ Palmer. Just in time, we just started doing some Star Wars trivia and some Marvel trivia. Oh, John Carter's mum says...
All right, that's it. I'm looking up Sharon Carter.
Yeah, I want to know now. I need closure.
Sharon Carter is a fictional character appearing in American comic books published by Marvel. She's usually depicted as a secret agent, an ex-field agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. under Nick Fury, and a love interest of Captain America / Steve Rogers. First appearing in 1966. Her parents are Amanda Carter and Harrison Carter. Movies and TV shows: Captain America the Winter Soldier, Captain America Civil War, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Let's see. She was played by Amanda Rigetti and will be played by Emily Van Camp in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Yeah, I'm guessing that like she must be like a more prominent character. Like, yeah, Sharon Carter, also known as Agent 13, is a fictional character appearing in American comic books published by Marvel Comics.
So she might have been prevalent in the comics, but not necessarily in the rest of the MCU.
I guess she was in. So she was in Captain America: The Winter Soldier, Captain America: Civil War, but I don't remember her character in that. But I remember her being like the girlfriend.
I don't remember either of those.
Captain America 75th. She is the daughter of Steve Rogers and Peggy Carter from an alternate timeline where she now serves as Captain America. I guess so. Originally, she was that, and then an alternate timeline, she's the son of Steve Rogers and Peggy Carter. So, welcome to confusing, and I can't keep.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a solid.
I mean, that ties into what we were talking about earlier, like the remakes of the original movie, right?
Yeah, adaptations.
So you either end up with a remake, or you end up with a parallel universe of chaos, and this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
like,
it's the advent of parallel universes has just been an out for movie writers. It's like, well, I can explain that with a
it's been an
parallel
out.
universe.
Well, it wasn't out from comic books first. Big time.
A what?
It's been an out for comic books since way before movies started doing it.
Yeah,
It's
that's where
always been like the parallel X-Men and the fucking, like
the Spideyverse.
And then it's like, and then it's like Spider-Man dies, but then Spider-Man's not dead, but then Spider-Man comes back, and then like Superman dies, and then Superman comes back as 4 characters, and you're like, what the fuck? Like,
Can I speculate that parallel universes have only solely been created so that we can perpetuate literary characters
in order to make money?
Yeah.
That's
questionable, isn't it?
That's the caveat, man. Because all right. So somebody who's a writer who's writing a story would kill a character because it serves the story. A good writer. I have to put that in there, right?
Yeah.
Like any good author, if there's like a death of a character, it's because it serves the bigger story, right? You know what I mean? Like Game of Thrones did that really well in the fact that like a lot of the characters died, but it drove the story forward, right?
Yeah. They didn't need no parallel universes.
No. I mean, until there was until there was bad authors doing the last season, right? But Game of Thrones is a good example that like a lot of characters die because it's an extremely dangerous, death-riddled world, right? Like that's what it's all about. But those characters died because it generally drove the story forward. Like so you think like Ned Stark, like when Ned Stark gets beheaded, like all of the kids like they all go out on all these crazy tangents that make all that stuff happen, right? And like but the characters that die in the Game of Thrones, it's like it forces somebody else to like do something, right?
Yeah.
So it's sort of it makes sense within the literary reasoning for it being there. And like if you're a comic book author, you're more often than not an author, right? And like if you write Wolverine for 30 years and then you kill off Wolverine, it's for a reason, right? It's not just because you're like, right? It's like it's for a definitive reason, and then the comic book company brings that character back because they want to sell the character again, right? And it's always a different author. Not always 100%, but it's more often than not like, oh, we've got a new illustrator and a new writer that want to do Batman iteration number 59. It's like, is it the Dark Knight swinging through the trees, Dark Knight, or is it the Dark Knight with this guy? And which Batman is it? I don't know. Yeah. Just make 500 million Batman movies. They'll all be different. Yeah.
Let alone his anime versions.
And like, you got to admit, from a movie standpoint, you got to feel like the Christian Bale Batman movies like should have put it to a rest, right? Like, there you go. There's the Batman.
I'm sure there's been issues of Batman comics in the last 50 years where people could have assumed that as well, but he just keeps coming back.
He just keeps coming back. It's a different guy, and then it's a whole different movie. And you're like, all right, what are we in for now? Okay, this is
I think that's part of the joy of characters like that, is that they're just so open to interpretation that they can just be redone and redone and redone until it's so trite that we're still enjoying it, but we can giggle a little bit more. Does that make sense? It doesn't make sense, does it? you know, the
I
long.
get where you're coming from. I get where you're coming from, and it would be incredibly difficult to argue against where you're coming from. You know what I mean? So I mean, there definitely is value there, but I also feel like, you know, just this. I guess like the Batman would be a good example of like it doesn't ever explain like, hey, those other movies didn't exist. Okay, like don't worry about those ones.
Well, I always
Like that was all just like a bunch of BS. So don't worry about those movies. You know, and like we're on how many Spider-Mans now? Is it 4? Is it 3?
no, way
I
more.
don't know.
There was 3 in the original Spider-Mans. There's like 6 or 7 if you don't include the 1986 TV show.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah,
So,
I've always been astounded at the Batman character, this one dude in this one city, and that there's been so many bajillion storylines about him. Surely that's like a, you know, maybe a 3-hour epic movie and done.
right.
He surely can't have that much to do.
Well, I think like one of the big problems is like you really got to. We talked about this a while ago with like the Transformer thing, like all the Transformer movies, like they just picked the wrong actors. They just went bonkers after the first one. They got, you know, they got $1 million in the bank and they just went ape and they went crazy. And then you couldn't continue the Transformer movies properly, I don't think. But
I really didn't mind Christian Bale as the Batman.
I thought that those 3 movies, they work really well together. There's this wild arc that really explains Batman. It explains all the hardship and all the kind of craziness and all that kind of stuff. And then you kind of go like, all right, there we go. Like there's the Batman, and then they're like, we're gonna make more.
Pop those 3 Christian Bale ones as standalones. Yeah, they didn't really need to do any other ones.
That's how I felt about it, but
it was quite a complete storytelling of Batman's lifeline.
Yeah, that's how I felt. But you know, it's hard to like. I mean, I'm arguing with the wind. You know what I mean? It's like
it doesn't matter
like,
how much we complain about. We can complain till the sun goes down that Ben Affleck made a terrible Batman, but still those movies were made. They're out there, and people enjoy them.
Well, I mean, here's the thing: like, I don't think that Ben Affleck really was a terrible Batman. I don't think he was that bad.
He did all right for the dialogue and stuff, but when it came to performing the choreography of fights, he just looked really awkward for mine.
Well, that's true, but he also he did the like rich douchebag part really well. You know?
Yeah. Like, he nailed that shit.
He nailed that part, right? You know, and like, you know, I think he did pretty well. I think he would have done a lot better if he wasn't directing. You know what I mean? Like, I think he's just a bad director.
Well.
Huh?
Did he direct it as well?
Yeah, I think he directed one of them.
How do you direct?
I've got
to go and do a crocodile again. You Google.
Huh?
I said I've got to go and wrestle a crocodile again while you Google.
Well, I'm
Aquaman. I think the first one was just called Batman, wasn't it?
Like Bateman, like
Danny DeVito is Penguin. I think that was Michael Keaton Batman.
Was Michael Keaton? Michael Keaton was the first one, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the one where Danny DeVito was Penguin.
Yeah, that sounds right. I don't know. Why does Ben Affleck suddenly have like a bunch of names? That doesn't make any sense. I think he. What was the first movie Ben Affleck directed? Here we go. He did Gone Baby Gone. Or maybe I thought he directed the Batman movie, right? Oh God, do I have to pay for Encyclopedia Britannica? This is ridiculous. Films directed by Ben Affleck. The Town, Gone Baby Gone, Life by Night, Argo. Oh, maybe he didn't. Maybe he like wanted to direct it. I don't know. I don't have chat open, so who knows? I thought he directed it, but I
Gina
might be
Frank-
wrong.
Which
Huh?
one are you talking about? You're still talking about Affleck?
Affleck. I thought he directed. I don't know, but I'm not finding a credit for him having directed it. Zack Snyder did Justice League. I guess Zack Snyder did all the
Got all
Batman.
the directorial credits.
Yeah, apparently. Huh.
Yeah, I don't know if based on Ben Affleck's history with movie production, I don't know whether he'd be relied on to do such a big name as a Batman film.
I thought he had, or maybe he wanted to direct the next one and they didn't want him to direct it or something like that, and that's why he decided to not be in it. I don't know.
Right.
Whatever.
That sounds like
I really don't care about Ben Affleck, but you know.
Yeah. You know, surely when he did crikey, name escapes me. What's the blind superhero dude that he did?
Oh, Daredevil.
Daredevil. Is Daredevil DC or Marvel?
Daredevil's DC, right? I think.
So how did they let the same actor do different characters under the same banner? Oh, hello.
No, Daredevil's Marvel.
Ah, right. That'll be why then.
Yeah.
That's just the Affleck trying to
remember
insert himself.
who was the other the DC? Oh, it was Grayson. That's right.
Oh yeah, can't wait to see pics, BJ. I hope you've got some method for sending me pictures of that shirt on you. It almost sounded dirty. Sorry if it sounded dirty. I just want to see the shirt. I don't want to see the human. Oh, no, that sounds worse, doesn't it? Now I'm saying, you've got no value. I just want to see my art. Bloody hell. Just do it, BJ. G'day, Cat Terry.
Have you ever seen an animated series called Inspector Gadget?
Yes.
All right. So you're familiar.
Yeah,
right?
the original voice was done by Don Maxwell Smart from Get Smart fame. What was his name?
Oh God.
Don Adams.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't pulling that one.
The original Inspector Gadget was the same voice as...
I think that's one that would be cool to do a live action. Like, because I think you could probably pull it off now. But the unfortunate part is it would be like so cheesy, like G-rated, unfortunately.
They did it with Matthew Broderick.
Did they?
Matthew Broderick did the film version of Inspector Gadget. And like you say, it was marginally cheesy.
Oh, that's right. That's right. 1999. That was like a really long time ago.
I heard a rumor that Sarah Jessica Parker nearly dumped his ass for making that movie.
Oh, really?
No, I'm just making stuff up.
It's true. It's true now. I heard it on the internet. I'd forgotten that he did that. All right. Well, it's not a good idea then. It's already been done, and it failed.
I cannot actually confirm whether I saw that movie in its entirety or not. I have a feeling that I did not want to spoil the joy that I got from that cartoon as a kid.
Right. Yeah, I don't think... I mean, I remember it being a thing now that I see the stills and stuff from it, but I don't think I've ever seen it.
Yeah, I'm fairly well convinced that it may have been on the TV as I was walking through the room at some stage. But yeah, I've
Oh my God.
I've
Inspector
not
Gadget
seen.
movie reboot fan club.
They want a proper one built, don't they?
So the
I think
fan casting
essentially,
roles. So the fan casting roles for Inspector Gadget movie reboot fan club. So for Dr. Claw, they have Lawrence Fishburne.
oh, not good enough.
That would be good. Penny should be played by Sabrina Carpenter, which none of us would know who the hell that was.
I don't know who that is.
Inspector Gadget as Paul Rudd seems to be the.
I'd lean more towards like a Steve Carell or someone a little bit more goofier.
I think Paul Rudd's pretty goofy.
Yeah, but he's like a sarcastic, cynical kind of goofy, whereas Steve Carell can pull off the naive kind of goofy. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, Paul Rudd plays a lot of really naive characters.
Does he?
I mean, you've seen Mac and Me, haven't you?
No, I don't think I've seen that one.
You'll have to look up Conan O'Brien, Paul Rudd, Mac and Me. They've got Chief Quimby. They've got Nick Offerman as Chief Quimby, which I think would be pretty good.
I don't even know who that is. Nick
That's
who?
That's the guy from the Community, Parks and Rec.
Which one?
He plays the guy with the mustache in Parks and Rec.
Like the light brown, gingery colored dude.
Yeah, the guy who always like everything's referred to as like whiskey and meat and everything. You know that guy? Yeah.
I really haven't watched much Parks and Recreation.
Well, I mean, Nick Offerman's in like all sorts of crap now. He's definitely on the internet.
Is he the one that does the show with Amy Poehler where they do like craft and stuff like that? That's that guy? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Whatever that show's called. Oh, I suppose now that we've got BJ Palmer here, I should do another Star Wars trivia question.
I should probably try another one. Yeah.
Star Wars trivia. Question 1 or question 2, Corvus?
2.
Oh, better not hold it up. They might be able to see through the card. For which planet did Grand Moff Tarkin tell Admiral Motti to set the Death Star's course? A. Alderaan, B. Tatooine, C. Dantooine, D. Onderon. Your time starts a few seconds ago.
previous to now.
G'day, Gina French. Sorry, I don't know if I said hello already or not, but there you are in the chat. And hello to you. Welcome. I wonder, can I just get a I know there was another stream kicking off before Bentley ended. I mean, I've got the courtesy to allow Bentley to finish before I start. But is there anyone in here that went to the other stream that was on at the same time as this one? BJ Palmer, I will read the planets again. A. Alderaan, B. Tatooine, C. Dantooine, D. Onderon. For which planet did Grand Moff Tarkin tell Admiral Motti to set the Death Star's course? Something just flew up my nose. I don't know. What drives a bug to think that the nose is a good place to go? I'll give you a clue that it was a fairly pivotal point in the plot of A New Hope, episode 4, where Tarkin, Grand Moff Tarkin, was about to show off the power of the Death Star. He had Leia Organa in his captive at the time. Crikey, just got no one wanting to take part in that trivia question.
I'm gonna guess Alderaan.
And you will get the points because it was Alderaan.
All right.
Because Leia Organa had said Dantooine was where the rebel base was, but Tarkin, he smelled her bullshit.
He already knew.
And went, nah, we're going to wipe out Alderaan. Thanks.
I think it's just because he just wanted to wipe out Alderaan.
Yeah, he knew there was lots of pretty people on that planet.
Like, just because. He was like, F this. All right, buddy. I got to do that thing.
Yeah, I might just all call it quits, eh? Let's just all go home and go and do all those things that we need to do.
I got to do that sleep thing.
Sleep? What does that taste like?
I did concrete work all day today. I'm pretty tired. Pretty wiped out.
Yeah, concreting will do that for you.
Yeah.
Well, that's the end of Star Wars and Marvel trivia for today, and we will. Sorry, BJ. Start a Facebook chat with me, BJ, and we'll we can do intimate, personal questions about the Star Wars and stuff, and look at pictures of T-shirts, etc. And I super appreciate you getting your Star Wars T-shirt. IHSP had surgery today, can't sleep. Oh. Are you allowed to drink whiskey straight after surgery?
As far as I know, you're not supposed to.
Well, I've got a DR in my name, and I'm going to say that whiskey is awesome for sleep. Have a go. But anyway, yeah, trivia seemed to be a bit of a dud. I did prepare a hangman, but we might save that for next week if I can remember what the word was that I imagined. Anyway, thanks again, Corvus, for hanging out and having a chat and talking shit. We did apart from the trivia, we're on this trend of very little Star Wars talk.
Well, we've been kind of chill because there hasn't been any kind of new Star Wars stuff coming out, you know?
I mean, you say that, but I've been watching so much Star Wars stuff, it's ridiculous. The Old Republic, there's so many hours of YouTube video available to watch. And like some silly fool, I started the Clone Wars again. And then I discovered that some of the Clone Wars is not in chronological order.
Which one?
Like, there's episodes strewn all through it that are in total silly timelines, and you've got to get the chronological episode listing to be able to accurately watch them in time.
And, like, figure out what the hell's going on?
Yeah. I've never watched it and been confused about a timeline, but apparently some of the episodes are, they hop, skip, and jump in between where they should fit in.
Right.
So it's handy just to have that as knowledge with viewing. As usual, you know, the Star Wars universe keeps us guessing.
That's right.
All right,
Strong
everyone.
guessing. All right, buddy.
Well, talk to you soon, Corvus. Thanks heaps, man.
Sooner than later, I'm sure.
See you when I'm looking at you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, I Googled up BJ because I don't know even where I've pardon me, where I got the information from, that they weren't all chronological. So I Googled it up and I'm Michael Black on Facebook, BJ Palmer. So yeah, I Googled up a list, and then there's, you know, lots of them are certainly chronological, but there's certainly a few that dance around the timeline a bit. Anything else? Anyone got questions that I can answer before I go? I don't necessarily have that many answers, but I'll try. I'll give it a whirl. Crikey, I can't even find where that last thing was. Yeah, there's like maybe 6 or 7 episodes that aren't like, that stick out, that go back and stuff. And then there's apparently a comic as well that you should read after season 5 of Clone Wars that fills in a few gaps before you get to the Mandalorian stuff in season 7. Yeah, Paddy, the wind is picking up, which probably means I'm going to get a storm in an hour or so. Thanks, Gina French. I will try and enjoy the rest of my day. I think I've got a few things I need to do, so probably best that I go and get into them. So thanks heaps, everyone, for hanging out. All 11 of you that are left. Appreciate your presence and your existence, etc. Look after yourselves, you know. Try and stay COVID free. It seems like no one even talks about COVID anymore. But anyway, yeah, hit us up, BJ. Let's talk. And everyone else, anyone else, you know, hit me up on the FB. I'm not impossible to find. And yeah, well, piss off. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go and be ridiculous and find a piece of music to go out on. I mean, why not? Why not? Except, what do you play? Goodness. Let's play a song about bringing people down a peg that don't necessarily need to be brung down a peg. I forgot to share screen. Shit, where did it go?
When you're hearing words from above, they're gonna speak of love, coming up from the deep. You find what you give is what you keep. What you give is what you keep. What you give. What you give is what you keep. When you're punched in the nose That's how it's gonna go. A little further to the south, you're taking a shot to the mouth. A shot to the mouth. A shot to the mouth. Wherever you walk on this earth, people want you to walk their way. All you gotta do is appreciate, but move your own way. You got your own mind to do what you will it to do for you. Mind what you want yours to do. Will to you. Might not share your point of view. Then you're knocked to the ground and rolled off your mount. If you're frightened by the sound, they say it's going round. They say it's going round. They say it's going round. When you look back to the top, might seem it never stops. If you climb back up the wall, don't stop reaching tall. Don't stop reaching tall. Don't stop reaching tall. Whatever you've been on this earth, people have told you to walk away. All you gotta do is find your own fate and walk your own way. You've got your own things to do, things you feel you really need to things that you really want to do. Don't want to do them. It's down to them, when all said and done, it's down to them, when all said and done.
Thanks, guys. See you next week, if not before. Take care. Look after the ones you love.